Welcome back to regular programming. Now it's time for the super fun happy horror hour with your hosts, Adam and Mike.
Welcome everyone. Mike, how are you?
I'm excited for this episode.
Yeah, me too. We're doing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films from 74 and 2003. Full disclosure, when I was looking at these, I was like, there's like 74 Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies with that title. Like I was like, what the fuck? Like, why is there so many? What is that about?
Okay,
I mean, it's 3 or 4, I think, but that's really unusual. Fair enough.
But okay. So you
So we
ended
should
up
start the
watching...
clock, huh?
Well, firstly, this was my question to you. So which one are we doing first?
74. We've got to go in order,
74?
right?
All right,
Yeah.
we'll do it in order. I am putting 29 minutes so that we've got a little bit of run over. I am clicking start now.
Okay, synchronized. All right. Where are we starting?
74.
How many times you watched it? How many times have you seen it?
74.
Yeah.
No, that's how many times I've seen it. No, a ridiculous amount of time.
Okay.
That probably, in all honesty, as much as I say that Halloween, the original, is my favorite horror movie, which it is, I reckon Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974 is probably my horror comfort movie.
Yeah. Okay. Can I?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say this was because you were just leading into somewhere I thought you were going, but not similar to me. Because this was only the second time I've watched this film, 74, and the first time I reviewed it, first time I watched it, it's 4 stars. Like, which 4 stars for me means it's a must see. I mean, as for the genre, absolutely a must see. And my opening line was like, it's hardly a massacre when only one person gets killed by a chainsaw in this film. Like, it's not massacre, it's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre death. Everyone else is killed by something else. But the second time I watched it, as I was sitting there watching it on Friday after a long week at work, this jumped up to 5 stars. This is, to me, an actual horror film. This is as horror is. Like, it's because it is based very, very loosely on true events. But there's such a feeling in this 74 version that is absolutely terrifying. Like, it's really horrific.
I think what works best about this, and you've basically hit the nail on the head with it, is that what happens is terrifying. It's not a movie that relies on jump scares.
No.
It's not a movie that relies on dark spaces. You know, like a lot of the movie takes place in broad daylight.
Well, I think what holds it up is the fact that everything that happens, most horror movies, you'll watch something, you go, bullshit, that would never happen. In this film, everything is completely feasible. Everything.
Yeah.
And
maybe not the vampire
grandpa,
but yeah.
No, yeah, but I don't know about that. You go to those, I've watched enough X-Files in the day about what small, freaky little towns are like, and I love those type of movies, even comedy ones. There's a Dan Aykroyd Chevy Chase movie from the 90s and Demi Moore called Nothing But Trouble. It's kind of like this. It's just this get trapped in this weird little freaky town in Idaho, and weird shit happens because the whole town is weird. That's kind of what both of these movies are like, but I kind of lost my train of thought there. Everything's feasible. Everything that happens, you don't go, bullshit. There's nothing in this movie that does that. And the characters, sorry, I was saying about the characters. Like, I cared about these characters.
Yeah, except for Franklin.
Yeah. Well, he was a wheelchair guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a bit of a dick. And you go, well, he's in a wheelchair, but you go, he's still a dick.
Oh, look, the wheelchair has nothing to do about it. Just the amount of times you've got to hear him yell out to someone. You know, and most of the time, you know, it's a very much like a pity party with Franklin. And look, I get it to an extent because he's almost like the comedic relief in the movie. You know, he sort of lightens up the mood.
Yep.
You know, unfortunate, but like things happen to him that, you know, like when he like tumbles down the hill and stuff like that. Like
he's the only one that gets killed by a chainsaw, right? Doesn't he get killed by the chainsaw?
Yeah.
Yeah, no one else does.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not off the top of my head.
Sorry to.
But he deserved it. Like the amount of times you have to hear him yelling, Sally! Sally! I'm like, mate, if you say Sally one more time, I'll kill you with a chainsaw.
That's
Like,
hilarious.
yeah, he literally used to just like annoy the hell out of me now. Now he's like white noise when I watch that movie
Yeah.
because of how often I saw it.
Mm.
The first time that I saw it, I remember like he literally just annoyed me that much that I was like, I hope he dies first. But yeah, like there's just something that this movie is a horror movie that relies on no jump scares,
Yeah.
broad daylight,
Yes. Daylight
and
horror is the hardest horror to pull off.
yeah, and like just even down to like the house is creepy.
Yeah.
You know, even outside of the like the I guess the abattoir section of it, like just the
Yeah.
general like rundown house where they've got like the bones
Unkempt and yeah.
piled and like
Mm.
imagine if you
Because they live in that house too. Because they're
yeah.
all exactly the same. They reflect the house. They're scruffy, dirty, just filthy, don't take care of themselves type of people.
But imagine stumbling across that house. Imagine you're like, you know,
It'd be
in your
scary if they
area,
didn't
like
have chainsaw.
yeah, yeah. So, you know, I look at it and go, I would hate to walk through a seemingly abandoned house like that myself. I would, even if there ended up not being a like cannibalistic family that lived there, if I just
Yeah.
walked through that house, it would
Mm.
like creep me out. Like I'd be like, nah, I'm
It'd
done.
be it'd be a great haunted house thing at Halloween. If someone
A
built a
hundred
replica
percent.
of that, it'd be
Yeah.
amazing.
And so, like, just the whole setting, you know, I like you know, you get the long grass, you get all this, just the sheer, like, dirtiness of the movie.
Also the isolation of it too.
Yeah.
Because there's
Um,
nowhere to run.
and yeah, so, and then obviously, like, and I'm sure we'll talk on it as we go, but then just the family themselves. But even before that, you've got people that I
Definitely.
think like going back to 1974, there were no horror movies like that. I don't believe. I think
No,
that was like
I don't think so.
basically
Well, it
what
wasn't long.
kicked off, you know,
Yeah, a
the
slasher genre, you reckon? Do you reckon this
yeah,
is a slasher
and
beginning?
especially like towards the like the color movies and then also like just
Yeah.
like the I know that we had color
Oh,
before the
the
70s like
cinematography is awesome in this, I think. I love
you
it.
know, and even just down to the sounds in this movie as
Mm-hmm.
well. You know,
Yep.
like for instance, what the chainsaw sounds like, where you can hear that in the background.
Yeah.
Not too, you know, dissimilar to your impersonation of the
Can
chainsaw.
you remind me how did it sound? I can't remember what I did.
But no, like, and so this movie, I imagine that when that came out, there was a chance that there was people that that was their first ever horror movie watched.
Yeah, imagine, can you imagine watching this in the cinema 50 plus years ago now
Yeah,
and never seeing films like, didn't know films like this could be made? You walk into it going, yeah, 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 like this is based on something, but you would not expect what you got. There's no way.
no, like,
Jaws was only a year later and people shut themselves at Jaws.
yeah,
So imagine
like
seeing this.
imagine you're watching a movie and not too long into it, like one of the first things you see is like a dude get his head like clubbed over with a like with the hammer.
Yeah, yeah.
Like as if imagine being in an like in a cinema watching that because again, no streaming service. There's
Mm,
no internet for people to spoil it for you either.
mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, so for the most part, unless they saw someone in person that spoiled it for them. Like everyone's going
Mm.
in completely blind with this movie. I don't know. I don't want to act like I'm an expert. I don't know if they had trailers for movies back then or how often they
Oh,
got
yeah,
shown. If
they definitely did. They were just in the theaters though. There's no.
yeah, so like for instance, you know, like at home, I don't know. I didn't know if like because of certain movies, if there were trailers that got showed between shows that they're watching.
Mm.
You know, would certain ones have to only be on after a certain time if they did show them, or do they not show them at all? I don't know. I wasn't around then, but a lot of the information that they got were just based on the movie posters, and the movie
Yeah,
posters are amazing. Like you can I guess
maybe
back then they tried to show you a rough idea of what the movie would be about
there'd be
in the movie
newspaper columns
poster.
from critics, but that would if you
Yeah.
happen to read them. But yeah, that would be about it.
Yeah. So I just think the idea of going into a movie that blind,
Yeah,
You're not getting like
Yeah.
advertising like beat over your head. You're not,
Yeah.
getting everything ruined by trailers or spoilers or YouTube videos. I think if
Very
if I went
true.
and saw that in the cinema for the very first time without knowing anything, I think that would terrify the fuck out of me.
Me too. I mean, this second viewing, yeah, you just have this sense of dread in this film the whole time. Like even the very begin. This is what I wanted to touch on. Like the very opening of this, before a character says a word or a character is even really seen, all you hear is the opening news salvo of these radio news articles, and it's all about fucking people getting. It's all really dark, horrific murders and all this bad stuff that's going on around the country. And I think that the movie's setting you up for, well, this is what the world is like now. I think this movie is actually trying to tell us that this was about the time when society changed and it became dangerous. Because you watch stuff from the 50s and 60s, those type of films, the world was a safe place. Everyone was lovely and blah, blah, blah. The 70s changed all that. Like this, it became a dangerous world.
Yeah, well,
There's
especially
a
like
line somewhere around that era where that happens.
I think so. Like, and I think you're right that the 70s was when the world started to have a bit of a shift.
Yeah.
Like for instance, like the Leatherface.
And Rebellion and Vietnam War.
Yeah.
It's all, yeah.
Leatherface is based loosely on like Ed Gein.
Yes, yeah.
So obviously he was around, and I think that was also not to say that serial killers didn't exist beforehand, because of course they have. They've like existed,
Yeah.
from the dawn of time, basically.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
The term wouldn't have, like, that's, however
No.
long, but like people would have been doing it. Look at Jack the Ripper, for instance.
Well, I think the term serial killer was, if I'm not sure if you've seen Mindhunter, but that was, I think it was coined by the FBI who started profiling serial killers. That's who.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go then. Like, you look at
Hmm.
that and go, okay, well, Jack the Ripper was a serial killer before the term existed.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And things like that. So I think, yeah, we had a lot of. I
I've been
think that
known to
was
kill
when there
a
was a lot of
bowl of
us.
Nutrigrain, but that's about it.
Yeah, I'd love a bowl right now. But, we had a lot of serial killers sort of coming out around the 70s, and it was more.
Yeah, you've got well, Son of Sam was the 70s too, right? Like it was the Zodiac, and that's what. Oh, yeah, I also wanted to talk about the influence this film has on future films. Like I'm not sure if you've noticed. I'm sure I'm guarantee you've noticed like the tropes that this movie created and generated, and its influence on future films. I actually, when I was watching this time, saw a lot of influence in Zodiac, just the way it's shot, the
Yeah.
way Finch has shot this film is so many similarities with where he's putting the camera low down to the ground and things like that. That's, I don't know why, but that is obviously an effectively scary and suspenseful camera position because it works.
Yeah, well, like I'm looking up, having a look here, and like for instance, like Zodiac Killer was in the late 60s. Manson Family was,
Hmm.
did most stuff in the early
60s.
70s. I think it's 1971 is when they killed Sharon Tate.
Was it 71,
Um,
was it? Wow.
yeah, and then like around that or not long after Texas Chainsaw Massacre and stuff,
Yeah.
you have John Wayne Gacy and stuff. So
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
definitely, and then Ted Bundy.
Ted
I
Bundy,
mean,
yeah.
they've said that they
What
don't
was
know
in the water back
exactly
then? I mean,
these movies. Maybe like it's the transition of like they're starting to get these movies and that. But I guess a lot of the time
could
there's
be
some sort
some
of like
It's got to be some
respect. Yeah,
psychological thing for just all of a sudden a spurt of serial killers.
I think that's what it is. I think that they've probably heard about the ones that have come before them.
Copycats
Um,
and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, or they go, okay, like I've heard about, so and so has just knocked off, 20 people. And then they think, okay, like my deviant tendencies of what, what I've wanted to do, obviously other people share it because they've
Yeah,
done it.
it okays it. Yeah, yeah. It's like, oh, well,
At least
maybe
in
I'm not the
their
freak
head,
I think I am. Yeah, absolutely.
you
Well,
know,
yeah, at least in their head.
and I'm sure,
Not,
like, as well, like, a lot of the time they're probably serving it up as some sort of tribute to these people as well, like almost like
yeah,
a
there'd be
sign of
cases of that.
respect.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you enjoyed it more the second time round, like watching it?
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Like, I really enjoyed it the first time. Like, loved it. But now I see this for what it is and what it's just it's legitimately scary. It's a proper horror. If someone was to ask me what's a horror movie, this would be the movie I'd probably point them at. Not as much as you were talking before, how this is almost your favorite over Halloween. Well, Halloween is my favorite. This is now a really, really close second. Even as I was watching, I'm thinking this could overtake Halloween for me. I don't know because it's
They're
incredible.
so different. You
Oh,
know,
they're very different. This is a proper slasher. Halloween
Yeah.
is kind of credited, strangely enough, for inventing the slasher, right? Which is complete bullshit.
Yeah, like I definitely don't think it invented it.
No, but it's credited with it. I've
Yeah.
heard it be credited with it anyway, I'll say.
I think it would be, up there. I don't think it would be, the pioneer of slashing.
I barely count Halloween as a slasher. There's only
but
like 2 murders in the film, isn't there? There's not many actual murders in Halloween.
the kill
3?
count's low.
Yeah.
But
then
it's the kill
only
count
one
in-
gets
Yeah.
only one's
Kill
killed with
count
an
in
actual slash.
Yeah.
Well, I think we might have discussed this in one of our blooper episodes that will never go to air this time.
Yeah. But in saying that, Texas Chainsaw Massacre doesn't have a whole lot of kills in it either.
What, just the 5 in the van, right? And maybe
I'm
a couple of the hicks.
I'm looking
hicks
it
in
up right now. So Texas Chainsaw Massacre kill count. Let's have a look. We have
Oh, what are you
there
looking at?
is 4 on-screen deaths.
In Texas Chainsaw?
Yep.
Okay.
And then Hitchhiker is off screen. Now let's have a quick look at Halloween. This is weird. They're saying that it's between.
Okay.
But they say between 5 and 7 victims.
Okay.
So yeah, it technically has more than Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But regardless of if they were both slashers or not, they're two like heavily different feels to them as well,
Mm.
And then
I'm kind of, yeah, they're definitely different feels. I'm just thinking and my third favorite horror film is also from the 70s, is completely different to both of those, Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
See, and this is where like mine goes too. So like my number 1, Halloween. Number 2, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Number 3, The Thing.
Oh, well, the thing is 81, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not so.
But like they're still like out of my top 4.
Yeah.
Like so my top 3 just there.
The Thing would probably be 4th for me, honestly.
Yeah. So the 4th for me changes quite often, but
yeah.
generally, and this is controversial, and I already know what a lot of people are going to say, and I don't care. Is Aliens?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the plural, not the first one. I just prefer the second one.
I think most people do prefer the second one, oddly enough. I have only seen it once, okay? I haven't got this attachment to the Alien franchise like a lot of others. I don't even think I watched the new show, Alien Earth. I don't think I'll bother. Romulus, I did not enjoy. Aliens, when I have watched it, I was like, this is really overrated, but I do need to watch it again.
I know a lot of people that have thought that, so you're not alone there.
I prefer the first one, but I need to watch them again.
It's a series that I think is worth watching, like almost in its entirety.
I know
as it comes out.
I know we're not here to talk about the Alien franchise, but I have a really hot take with the Alien franchise because I haven't watched them with that nostalgia. I've watched them. I only watched them in the last 3 or 4 years. So into my 40s is when I started watching Alien films. The best 2 Alien films are Prometheus and Covenant. I think they're both fucking brilliant. They are fantastic films. They are.
They're probably 2 of my
them.
least favorites.
Yeah, I know. I think that's general for everyone that has watched
Especially
the Alien
Covenant.
franchise. I love Covenant, man. Covenant's great.
The best bit about that movie is Danny McBride, and that's saying something.
Well, yeah, he's probably the worst part of it. And as much as I do love Danny McBride. But anyway, back on the Texas, yeah?
We should, well, you've heard it here, folks. We're going to end up having an Aliens special episode.
It sounds that way, yeah.
We'll do what we call a franchise feature. It will be like a longer one, and we just start, and we both have pros and cons, and maybe, this is going to be a little bit of a spicy thing here. Maybe this can be our first and potentially only ranking episode.
A ranking episode would be sweet. Oh, please don't. Look, never say never. Who's to say it's
And that's why I said first and maybe
Maybe,
only.
yeah. I like the idea of a ranking episode, or even a draft. How they do in the big picture, do a draft,
Yeah.
franchise draft, maybe. But anyway, is there anything more you wanted to add about Texas Chainsaw? Do you think it's trying to tell us anything?
Look, I think that it's telling us not to make fun of weird people on the side of the road, not to
Yeah, or
walk
pick them up.
into buildings that don't belong to you. No, I think if anything, and this is probably going a bit deep,
Or,
and I've not read any of the books. I do want to get. There's a book called Chainsaw, like Confidential, which talks about the
Mhm.
making of the movie and
Yep.
stuff like that. It's quite expensive here in Australia to get, so I haven't got it. But so maybe this is touched somewhere. There's plenty of documentaries on these. I don't tend to watch them, but I kind of think one of the things that it shows us is that you've got a person like Leatherface who is this hulking, looming powerhouse of a character to their victims, and you
Hmm.
see him like this, but only the audience and Sally see how he doesn't understand who he is and how he is disrespected by his family, how he's scared of his family.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
realistically, he's just a bullied character. He's a flawed bullied character who has probably been born into the nastiness that he's,
Well,
dealing with.
his dad's probably also his uncle too, right? Like
Well,
it's
there's probably a lot of different things going
yeah,
on there.
yeah.
But so it kind of, I think, if anything, shows the other side of the coin of where we may perceive a villain as a villain, and he is a villain. Like, he kills people for no
Yeah,
real
yeah.
reason. But if we take a step back,
Sustenance.
well, it's also if we take a step
Protein.
back, is he really a villain or is he protecting his home and his family? They went on his
I
turf.
don't know. There's much protection going on. This is their antagonists. They're not defenders.
But what
They
would you
lured them
like?
to that house, right? Didn't they? Did they lure them?
No,
Or that's more in the
no, they
second
just
one.
got.
The second one.
And so, he's basically just defending himself from home invaders, really. But then also, he's coerced by his family. You see how they get him to do everything and everything like that. And you can see him get upset too and scared.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe this is potentially one of the. It's a real Frankenstein story.
Okay.
You've got a misunderstood character who, if anything, is
Ah,
probably
okay.
more scared
Yeah.
of the world than the world is of them.
Yeah.
What's your take on it?
On that character,
Or no, your take on like what you think,
what
if
the film's
any.
trying to tell us.
Yeah,
I think I touched on it before, is that it's the world is a fucked up place, and this is the it's revealing the true horrors of this film. Sorry, this film. It's revealing the true horrors the of the planet, of the world, because like I said, the opening news stories, it's all doom and gloom, it's all horror, people being murdered and attacked and this and that. It's completely the film in its almost a Gonzo style film. It's so realistic. Even I did actually note that the deaths in this film, there's no excessive gore, there's no theatrics around it. It's just clunk on the head, dude's dead, hung up on a hook. And that's what makes it more frightening, because it's not what horror gets away with is that it's not scary because it's so unrealistic. When you see someone get their belly slashed or their throat slashed and blood spurting everywhere, as realistic as that might be, but it's so Hollywooded up that it stops becoming scary because you know it's completely unrealistic. This stays scary because it is very realistic because of those. There's matter of fact. The first death when Leatherface just clunks that dude in the back of the head with a hammer or an axe. That's all it is. There's no theatrics behind it. He just walks up behind him because he's facing the other way and just smacks him in the back of the head with an axe. That's how it would happen. There'd be no running, no chasing. Like he snuck up behind him. That's the most horrific part. He doesn't know it's coming. That's what makes it scary. Whereas in other horror films and slashers, especially, they know it's coming. They're screaming. They're up against a wall or a tree, or they're running upstairs. This one's just clunk, bang. That's the scary nature. Someone could walk up behind me now. I wouldn't have a clue and just smack me in the back of the head with an axe. Like that's fucking frightening.
yeah, and just like showing, I think as well, like you get a bit of like a, I guess like a finality, but
Mm.
just showing how easily someone can be like snuffed out.
Yeah, exactly. Life is
Like he's
fragile
not getting,
too.
yeah,
That's another thing he's trying to tell us.
he's not getting up and walking away. You know, he's not gonna
No,
like come to and go, like, "Oh,
no.
sorry guys, I was knocked out for half the movie," like
Yeah,
we get
yeah, yeah, yeah.
now. You
Yeah.
know,
To
it's
have
like,
that hero at the end, yeah.
yeah, exactly,
Because the
and
killer would just clonk him and not check that he's dead. Like, yeah, it's
yeah,
not like a
and not
Scream
only that,
5.
but he works in a slaughterhouse, so he knows where to hit a skull. To, and it wouldn't
Yeah,
be his
yeah.
first human victim either.
Not his first
Um,
radio, that's for sure.
so
Like
he
two,
knows
three
exactly
minutes.
where to hit,
Yeah.
and you know, it's that's what's scary is just how quick and how much of a nothing kill that is.
Yeah.
Like to
Yeah.
Leatherface, like he's like,
Yes.
well, I'm done. Like time for
Yeah,
lunch.
yeah, yeah.
Goes and makes a sandwich,
Yeah.
basically.
It's business as usual. Again,
Whereas,
that's what makes it scary.
yeah, whereas
There's no
that would have
fuss.
been how scary is that to think about? That that would have been
Extremely.
someone's like first time watching a kill on screen, like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
movie viewers in the cinema are going, oh yeah, like probably don't I don't know what experience they've had with movies prior to that,
Yeah.
but then they're like, oh, let's go watch this movie, and out of
Yeah.
nowhere, this lumbering guy comes out with a hammer,
Mm.
smacks him on the head, and
Yeah.
he's done. Like
Yeah.
Bob's
So
your uncle sort
that
of thing.
that
That's
that movie
scary.
would keep me away from Texas farmhouses before George would keep me out of the ocean.
Yeah,
But honestly, that's the difference in the horror. And comparing those because they're very era adjacent.
yeah, very,
And
very.
the fact that Jaws was this blockbuster horror and people are still scared to go into the ocean because they watched Jaws when they were little, if they'd have watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the same age, would they be driving through country Texas and going into random farmhouses? Fuck no.
No, no.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's 100% it. Like
This
you
is
never
proper
know
horror.
that you never know what the end result is. How do you know
Mm.
that even in Australia, how do you know that you don't walk into an abandoned house and there's someone squatting there who could do the exact same thing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, these home invasions happen. And that's kind
Oh,
of like this is like a
absolutely.
reverse like Don't Breathe. I think Don't Breathe is actually really suspenseful for the similar reasons to Texas Chainsaw. It's
Yeah.
that there is absurdity around it, but there's still realism in that home invasion scenario.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, don't breathe. That character's basically just a blind Leatherface, isn't he?
Yeah.
All right, so we got a minute going up. So yeah, I just want to know, like, your final, like, is it what was? Do you have a favorite part from that movie, or like your favorite thing that would make you talk about it around the cooler at work?
Probably what I just have been, honestly, that just that initial thunk on the head and dead. There's a victim, clunk, dead. Just like so clinical, so methodical, no emotion involved, just clunk. Yeah, here's food for the next fortnight. I don't know, like just that
For
mentality.
the fortnight, yeah.
Well, it's the whole
Yeah. I
family,
mean,
right?
there's a whole family, right? That's like one dinner. That's a
Yeah.
KFC bread basket right there. Like, and I don't know, like, look, they don't
You
look
can
like
make a
they're the type.
stew, that'll last a few days.
Well, I was gonna say they don't look like the type of people that would waste any part of a body. Like
No, no, that's time. Sorry to do that.
time. All right,
2003. Where are we starting with 2003?
Jessica Biel. No,
We
no,
can start there though. We
no.
should start there because can we start there? Because you started
Hmm.
it. When we were going through the list, I looked them up too on Wikipedia and I
Yep.
saw Michael Bay was the producer of this film. I'm like, that's why Jessica Biel was looking like that the entire film because of Michael Bay. 10,000%.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
what Michael
100%.
Bay does. He's a pervy prick and we thank him for it because Jessica Biel is insanely just looking in this film. It's silly.
Yeah, like I think that was
You
definitely a selling point for the movie, like for a lot of people,
yeah. Yeah.
because I think, and obviously we see with the early 2000s, we were talking about like decades and how like the sign of the times. You look at how many, of the 2000s did we get where we had similar characters,
Yeah.
of like this. So, off the top of my head, you had the characters of like Paris Hilton and Alicia Cuthbert in like House of
House of Wax.
Wax. You know,
I remember watching that once.
yeah, look, and you've watched it enough just there. But no, no, look,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
not a
yeah,
bad
exactly.
movie. It's not great, but it's not bad. But we even Elijah Dushku in Wrong
Mm.
Turn.
Oh,
That
Emmanuel
like
Shrieky in that too. Both of those. That's a duo.
yeah, but we
Yeah.
get a lot of the same characters.
Yeah.
Where they're like
Well,
they're dressed the same though, and it's like
Yeah.
there's an outfit for final
Yeah.
girls. You know what it is? That outfit, regardless of who's wearing it, is
Tight jeans,
the
tight top. Was
yeah
the
is
midriff era too.
is the female version of a guy's varsity jacket in a horror movie. I'm putting it there now. The amount of
Okay.
horror movies where there's a guy wearing like a varsity
Yeah, yeah,
jacket,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
especially in
Absolutely.
that same sort of era, uh,
Yep. Yep. The Letterman
is
jacket.
yeah, the Letterman jacket.
Yeah.
That's the version. It just changes. So
So the
like if you,
white tank top type of thing you mean,
or
or
yeah, white tank top or like like the midriff type top, probably
yeah.
with a sort of tight jeans. They were really big on like the jeans
Yeah, yeah, I heard jeans are
with it
painted
as
on.
well.
In Jessica
Um
Biel's jeans are painted on in this film.
and
It
so
must have been an uncomfortable shoot for her to walk around that hot jungle, for that long with just
I
those
reckon.
that costume. Yeah, it would have been horrible.
I think though the only thing, and this isn't Michael Bay being a perv thing, because I go okay, like so many movies are guilty of like casting
Yeah,
eye candy,
they were
but
selling points.
they've ruined an area where they could have made Jessica's character more iconic. How quick she got rid
Yeah,
of the cowboy hat.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That was such a thing. You don't get a lot of people that have accessories that
Mm.
stay. And at the start, they did this really cool shot. I think it's as Jessica's getting out of the van, it might be like around like the gas stop or something like that, or doing something where she's like done, and the way that the character's moved, and it's shown like it raises up and you see her with the cow, like with the hat. And I
Hmm.
was just thinking that was just shot really good. Like it was a
Yeah.
stylish, sleek shot, and then it gets lost, in the ether. We never see the hat again after a certain point. But I think a lot of people go on and say that that's like the selling point for that movie. For me, it's
Uh,
not the
it's
case.
not. No, it's not. But yeah,
M-
they yeah.
My selling point for that movie is that we no longer have a character like Franklin.
Yes.
We have Jonathan Tucker, who would be in the closest position to that, like the
Yes,
closest
annoying
role to
nerd.
that. But he's not. He
Such a
flips the script a little bit. He's annoying, but it's because he's childish more than
yeah.
anything. And he's more likely to get the group of friends in trouble than anyone else in it. Uh, and also, like, but you're not hearing him yelling out. You're not getting Sally, Sally, or Jessica Biel's character's name is Erin in it. Like, you're not hearing Erin, Erin. And so that was just really good. There was the annoyances were gone, but
I would argue that.
well, some of the annoyances were gone. The
Yeah, there was plenty
tonal
of
and
them.
yeah, there was. But I think the movie was off to such a good start right from the very beginning. Spoiler alert to anyone that hasn't seen this movie. You've had 22 years to have seen it. If you've not seen it, stop
We
listening
yeah.
now because
We
I'm
do
about
forget
to
to
let.
say that we do spoil these movies. We forget to say that, but
Yeah, but in
it's
saying that, you've had 22 years and you've had 51 for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So with the first one, so do your homework. Letting everyone know now as well. Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father.
what?
Oh, I'm sorry, you haven't seen it yet. My bad. But I
Yeah.
liked how stylish this movie was. It was very 2000s while not feel
Ah,
like, but
yeah,
while
it's
not
all over it.
but
It's
instead of the glitziness that we got in the 2000 era, we got the grittiness that I think paved the
it's
way for the like
yeah.
House of Wax, the Wrong Turn, and things like that to show that it can be dirty. Like it
Oh,
doesn't have to be as like glamour and like as what I think is polished like the Scream movies
yeah, yeah, yeah.
or like
Yeah.
I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like they're very much like I'm gonna
Yes.
say it, pretty
Yes.
movies.
Yes.
Urban legend and stuff. This
Where
is going showing
the
like,
th-
hey,
the thing about those films is that everyone is attractive in those movies,
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
levels of attractiveness, right? Whereas
yeah,
in this one, it's pretty much only one person who's attractive.
yeah. Look,
Attractive. I
well,
mean,
look, and I mean that's questionable. It just depends on what people are into. They were all popular
yeah, but
people.
by conventional means, I would
Well,
say, and
yeah,
Hollywood
yes and
means.
no. I mean, like back then, like they were all popular actors. Like Eric Balfour was really popular. So he was
Oh,
the
was he?
Kemp. He wasn't in like a huge amount, but he was popular.
Okay.
Mike Vogel, the guy that the blonde, he was in a bunch of stuff as well. So what was like Mike Vogel in that would know? So he was in Cloverfield,
Okay.
which obviously came after that, but I think he was in. I could be completely wrong, but wasn't he in that? Is it 13? That movie, 13? I could be wrong. He's
I
in
don't
that
know what 13 is.
Supercross
He's in The
movie.
Help. He's in Blue Valentine. Sisterhood
Um,
with the Traveling Pants. He's in quite a lot, actually.
yeah. So like, and
He's
it
out of my league. Yeah.
very much like in the early days sort of things of like early
The,
2000s. He was
yeah, yeah. I'm not sure when
um
films started being shot on digital, but this definitely has a digital feel to it. But I could be completely wrong. Yeah, like we were talking about that glossiness from the 2000s. This still
yeah
has that, but it is, yeah, like you said, it is grittier than the regular teen horrors from around that era.
yeah. So and I like that. The color grading originally was terrible. I don't know.
So you've got the 4K of this now, haven't you?
I
So
did, and that
yeah,
is glorious. It is well
yeah.
worth it. I loved it because there's a lot
Yep.
of like in the original, like the first time I saw it, because I was when it came out, I was 12 or turning
Right.
13, like when it was
Yeah.
coming out. I didn't see it in the cinema because cinemas back then were really strict on who they would let in. If you weren't of the
Yeah, right.
age, you wouldn't get in. Like they wouldn't let you in.
Okay.
And I ended up renting it on DVD.
Yep. Video
Um,
stores didn't care.
no, video stores didn't care. And so I rented it on DVD, and the color grading was bad. In those dark corners of that movie, which there's a lot, it's a very dark movie, that
Mm.
like pixelated, like the color drop out, it doesn't have like the deepness of like the blacks in it, was
Hmm.
so prominent. And then you basically had to watch the movie in the darkest room possible because otherwise like it almost was like overexposed, like it would have like a
Right.
blowout and you couldn't see anything on it, like
Right.
like watching a TV where there's like sunlight like glares on the
Yeah.
TV. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Like if it wasn't
Ah.
like a dark room, this movie was hard to see.
It's good to know the 4K's all right.
The 4K
Um,
is beautiful.
so how many times have you seen this
Not as many
one?
as 74, but I
2003?
I would probably yeah, 2003 times. I reckon I'd be like probably close to somewhere between like 10 and 15 times.
Okay. And you really like this one?
Yeah, not as much as
No.
1974, but I was very at a young age when I was getting to watch these movies because it did feel like you were
Yeah.
watch when I was that age. I was getting away with murder. Basically, by watching these movies, I felt like I was doing something very taboo.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So
so
that's at that very impressionable age when you're 12 or 13, and that's why you love films from that era. I mean, I love films from when I was that age as well,
yeah,
even though
and
they
so
might be
like
shit.
there's
Not so, I'm
look
not saying
and
this is shit. I'm definitely
oh
not
no,
saying this is
but like
shit. I'll
there's
talk
definitely
about it.
like shit movies that are shit and there's shit movies that I love as well,
Yeah,
like generally.
absolutely.
But
Yeah.
when you're that sort of age and like too young to work,
Yeah.
you make do with what you get. So like I ended up like rewatching a lot of movies that I'd seen before just because there was no option if we weren't
Yeah,
renting
I
them.
used to do that too. Well, I've seen the
Um,
Goonies 7,000 times.
and and then sometimes you'd find that you would rewatch, you'd even hire a movie that you've seen
Hmm.
before because either there wasn't anything out or you have friends over and because you don't own it, you want to
You want
like
to
show
show
them. So there were definitely like a handful of movies
them?
back, in those days that I watched a lot, like a ridiculous amount sort of thing. That being one, Jeepers Creepers, House of
Hmm.
Wax,
Hmm.
13 Ghosts, stuff like that
Yeah.
had a high rotation with me because I didn't necessarily have the means to find the other stuff, or just when movies were popular, it's like the hype that Sinners got, right? But because the internet wasn't big, even in the
Yes.
early 2000s, like not
Mm.
everyone had the internet,
No, no.
that it was always word of mouth. So then, even if you went to a mate's place, they could be like for a sleepover or something, they'd be like, "Oh, we've hired movies, and it's like, oh, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre would be it. It's like, oh, okay, I've seen this before at the sleepover I was at last weekend, and you'd end up watching these movies. But I want to know with
Yeah.
you. So was last night your first time watching this one?
Yes. Yeah,
Ever?
yeah, yeah.
Like you? It's
Ever.
not like okay.
Never. The only thing I knew about it was that Jessica Biel was in it. And I was going to say before, no, when we're talking about the actors in it, if Jessica Biel hadn't married Timberlake, we probably wouldn't remember Jessica Biel either. Because I mean, what else has she been in? She's not been in a lot. I mean, she's been in
Seventh Heaven.
films. Oh yeah, that's what that TV show did. I never
Um,
watched that. I don't think she's. I
I now
kind of made me
pronounce
think
you.
why isn't she acting anymore? Like why doesn't she actually do bigger films?
I don't
She hasn't
know.
been in
Like
much.
maybe the need not to. Maybe I don't know. Like personal life. Like maybe there's
Well, I mean,
children.
she had kids, and obviously
Yeah.
her and
So
Justin had kids and whatnot, and she's probably like, well, I'm going to concentrate on the family and let him work on his career, and that's, that
either that
happens.
or
That's a
like that.
pretty common thing, and nothing against her for that. I think she could have been a bigger star than what she
I think
became.
she was great in this movie too.
Oh, she's
I
good.
would
Yeah,
have
yeah,
I would have loved to have seen more horrors with Jessica in it. I liked
yeah,
the attitude of the character, and I liked that if anything, like I think that character had more fortitude than nearly anyone else in that
yeah,
in that group of friends, and so that made it. I I thought it was a relatable character, like due to dumb actions of other people, and oh no, well due to trying to help someone she's stuck in that situation.
yeah.
And so that's just something that I sort of come up with. But what I was going to touch on before is I knew that I was going to like this movie based on very early on shots. That shot
Okay.
where you see like the hitchhiker has used the gun on herself and you see that perfectly framed shot through the van through the hole in the head, so you like the
Yes. Oh,
camera
yeah, it was
goes
yeah,
up and
good
then
shot.
like I thought that was so good.
Yeah, it
uh,
is. It's
and
it's
then
it's definitely using the tech of the time. Like you see that a million times now, but
you
yeah,
do now but
it was
back then I
really
thought
oh yeah, definitely. It's yeah.
and then the cherry on the cake for that same scene is when they pull away from that so you see the face and there's gun
Mm,
smoke coming out of her mouth.
yeah, yeah.
I was like, well, like I'm pretty sure like I if I would have watched that for the first time recently, it's that sort of shot that would have made me clap. I would have been like, bravo, like that is like
Yeah,
the
okay.
fact that he's just like it was a 1-2 punch. So you see that nice shot, and again, we've seen that shot 100 times now. But
Yeah.
if you watched it in 2003, not every
Oh,
second movie was doing
huge.
it.
Yeah, no,
Um,
definitely.
but then to just go around with that chef's kiss of like the gun smoke pluming from her mouth, I was like,
Hmm.
bravo, that is something amazing. And yeah, so I was in love with that. That scene there is probably my favorite scene from the whole lot.
I do have questions about it because I mean
Mm,
I gave this a 3 stars. I think it's worth checking out. I don't think it's terrible. I think it's
yeah.
pretty good. Because I just have so many of those questions that I was talking about in Texas 74. There's this just a bit of bullshit in this one. Like there's just that stuff I questions like why did she wait until she got in the van to kill herself when she had the gun on her the whole time? Like why like that was
Well,
it's piss poor plotting. It's a
no, because
shitty
they
plot
sort of
device.
touched on that though. So she was hoping, like, she'd obviously gotten out, finally broken out that she was escaping, only for her, would be saviors to turn around and go the way that she's just been coming from. And because they're thinking that she's a raving lunatic,
Mhm.
they're paying her no mind. Just like we literally see that scene get mirrored with the character Erin at the start, at the end of the movie, or towards the end of the movie, where she's getting help by the trucker and they take her back to, and she's like, no, 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 like, don't do this, don't do this. And they take her back to the abattoir again. And so that's what we get with that hitchhiker at the start. They've finally been picked up. They think that they're getting saved, only for the car to be heading towards where they've just come from.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think it was at that point where they've turned around and they said, like, that they can't go back. they won't go back, and that's where they had to make the decision there and then to like end their life as opposed to being recaptured by the family.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I probably wasn't paying enough attention then
Yeah,
to
because
pick
it's
up
just
on that.
when they're walking and then they go like, "Oh, we'll take you to the nearest hospital, we're doing that." And because the family had, or the sorry, not the family, the friends had that concert to go to, that they were in a
Yeah.
bit of a rush as well.
Yeah, Leonard
But then
Skinner's.
as they started going on and going, okay, like this girl does need help. Let's do the
Yeah.
hospital. We'll take it there. And it just happened to be that that's where they found the house. And she's like, no, I'm not going back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But speaking of
Gotcha.
Skinner, they play
Yeah.
Sweet Home Alabama, and that song came out a year
Yeah.
later.
You wrote that, right? In
I
your
did.
Yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah.
like I remember going, hold on a second.
You're one of those guys.
I was.
Checking.
I was like, and I'm pretty sure that
I
like
just accept it.
that
It's like, oh.
that tank top and those jeans, I don't think were a sign of the times either.
No, well, you know what? Absolutely. Yeah, there would have been bell bottoms or something back in that time. I did want to point out, like, what parts I did like about this was that it does lean into more those creepy characters more, like the creepy
Mhm.
family. It leans into
Yeah.
them and adds a bit more to them, and they're actually really good. I'm not going to say they're better than 74, but I think they have a bit more to do. Ali Ermy is so fucking good, man.
The
He's
only thing
awesome.
though
He's the
with Ermi is, and it's not always, but at least in these movies, and with him especially in this one, I really wanted Leatherface, and I nearly put this in my review. I really wanted Leatherface to use his chainsaw on his eyebrows. Because when Ermi was wearing the sheriff's hat, it was pushed to a certain thing that you actually see the eyebrows sprouting and like getting pushed down from the hat. So they're
Oh,
going
really?
outwards a bit. They were
Yeah, never
so
paid.
big.
Didn't
And
notice it.
I nearly
I
wrote
didn't.
in my
That
review
might be
that
a
I wish
4K feature.
maybe. But I
Might
did
show
nearly
up again.
write that I wish that Leatherface used a chainsaw on his eyebrows.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What else did I note for this? I did not like the way this was edited. There must have been scenes that I was looking at, and I noted that I thought the action is really badly directed and edited.
100%.
Yeah, it's not well handled at all. Like you just miss stuff. There's too many frames cut from certain scenes they shot, maybe, and you're just missing what could make it a bit more scary, I suppose, or a bit
Which
more realistic, even.
really sucks. Like I would like to know. I'm gonna have a quick look right now
I mean,
because I
there
know
are,
who.
like you were talking about
Um,
before, there are good shots in here, but overall, it's not.
well, there has to be good shots in this because I'm telling you, like you had Daniel Pearl return from the first movie. He did
Yeah,
the 1974 movie. He
yeah,
was the
that's why it has that nice
cinematographer.
grittiness, right?
But then
Maybe
I'm
it was
having a
shot on
quick
film
look
then.
here. Is there was a guy called Glenn Scantlebury who was the
Okay.
editor. So I don't know where wires got crossed because Daniel Pearl's work is amazing. He actually did like some of the cinematography on Alien vs Predator Requiem,
Okay.
Mum and Dad. Obviously, like I said, he did the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He's done a bunch of stuff that people would have seen. And so I believe he knows his stuff and he knows what works with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Someone just,
This is shot on film too, by the way.
well, there you go.
Kodak Vision, yeah, the IMDb lists it all.
So
6 reels.
I'm just blaming the editor on that because I do agree with you. There was some very like messy shots.
Almost like a Marvel movie with their action in that too. Quick cuts
Yeah,
and just
yeah,
sloppy. You don't see anything. It's just everything's a blur.
yeah. But that was very similar to. I felt like we ended up getting more of that in the Friday the 13th remake, which is directed by the same guy. So that's I
Is
think
that
it's
on the
Mark.
schedule? Is that on our schedule? It should
No,
be. Okay. Friday the
no, it could
13th.
be. We
It
don't
will
have
be
it
at some point, I
planned.
suppose, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably do it. But yeah, is it? Am I right? Yeah, Marcus Spiel. So he did Texas Chainsaw Massacre before doing that, and yeah, I think that they're very much similar in a lot of
Mm,
ways. But I do want to hear, like, from you,
yeah.
who's only seen it the one time.
Yeah.
give me a bit of a rundown on having seen the 1974 original, and then on your second viewing of that, like enjoying it a lot more. Tell me what you thought about the remake, and do you think that you would get more value out of it if you watched it a second time?
This one,
Yep.
invariably, I do. Yeah, like I would probably. I don't think I'm going to rush out and buy the 4K like that you have, but I would definitely rewatch that at some point in the future. I couldn't tell you when exactly, but it'll probably happen. Probably the next time I watch the first one again. I don't know.
So, are we going to end up doing a part two of Texas Chainsaw Massacre? So we get some lovely chop top in there?
What do you mean?
So Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. Are we going to do an
Oh,
episode where we do Chop Top? But no,
that would
no,
be
I
cool,
completely
actually.
agree. I can understand how it might not rock everyone's world.
Mm,
And obviously it's a risk when buying 4K as well, because the color grading in the DVD release of it is absolute trash. Terrible. Some of the worst like color grading I've ever seen in my life. The 4K transfer, obviously they were probably aware of that people didn't like the color grading of the DVD over the years.
okay.
And that was something that they've obviously worked hard on doing to make that look better, which it does. It looks much better. So, but obviously the 4K is not for everyone.
Yeah, well, yeah, again, I wouldn't. If I don't have because I just have 74 on a Blu-ray and part two on Blu-ray as well. I don't have the 4Ks of
Mm.
those either because I kind of wish I did have the 4K of the first one though.
Second Sight have a really nice 4K.
Okay, I should look into that because
Yep.
this is going to be after watching it the second time. I reckon this is going to be a pretty regular watch for me around spooky season and stuff.
And it looks good. The transfer is great.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
But yeah, so I just want to get your over. We talked about like what you would say around a cooler with your friends about the first
Hmm.
one. If you met up with a cooler for the 2003 version, and you're talking with mates and they go, "So what did you think?" Like if you had to sort of give a bit of a paragraph spiel of this movie, what do you reckon you'd say?
That, well, like I did in my letterbox review, basically the characters are bland. They're very boring, paint by numbers characters, and I couldn't give a shit if they lived or died in this film. Whereas in the first one, I did. I don't know what he made about those characters that made me root for them to not get clunked on the back of the head. But this one was just like, okay, cool. They're all gonna. Probably maybe because I knew they were gonna die. And look, it's Jessica Biel is gonna be the final girl from point one. It's just a matter of waiting for seeing how they're gonna die. So maybe that's why I didn't invest in them as well. Like thinking about it from that psychoanalysis type of point of view. But again, there was nothing to like about any of those people. To be honest, I didn't like any of them.
All right, and let me put one question to you. You tell me if maybe this is accurate. If I'm hitting a hard truth, maybe.
Okay.
Okay, so obviously you've seen 1974, however long ago, relatable characters. Do you think that any chance of you disliking these characters in the new, like in the remake, is
Mm.
because they represent the dumb youth of today? There's people like that now, and
Uh,
you're almost like get off my grass, and you're holding like
no,
like you're
no, I
holding the
wouldn't.
shotgun.
Actually, no, I don't think so. It's a good question to raise, but I don't think so. No, in horror movies, the youth are always dumb in all of them.
Yeah,
Well, these no smart ones are the final girls or
but look at
boys.
the stark contrast between the two youth groups from the 1974, where you've got
Yeah.
like a carefree, like
Mm,
they all get
yeah.
along, they're doing this, they're just doing whatever, and then you've got these ones that are like smuggling in
Smuggling
weed
drugs. Yeah, yeah.
and going to concerts, and it's kind of like is this a part where we would have Uncle Adam rocking on his porch with his shotgun slung across his lap,
Mm.
yelling at clouds and making people get off his,
No, no, because them transporting drugs didn't make me hate them. It made me go, well, you're fucking dumb, but it didn't make me go.
Yeah,
But there's also that entrepreneurship to it, which is, I don't know, it's semi-admirable because he wanted to make their life better. I mean, it's a dumb way to do it, but
yeah.
the thought behind it is admirable, and we're pretty much at time. But no, yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say, but I'll be rocking on my porch. These guys weren't dumb. They just weren't likable. And I think that's a lot to do with the dialogue when they're in the van. It's just the way they talk to him. The other in 74, the way they talk and the dialogue with them, it's a bit more genuine and a bit more authentic. This one, it's just not. They're just all unlikable people. Even the other girl in it, she's annoying as hell. She's the wheelchair guy. I think she's annoying because
Yeah,
she
okay.
always screaming the entire time. Like, take a breath, mate.
Take a breath, mate. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
okay, cool. So, I mean, I was going to ask you, which one you prefer, but obviously it's
Oh, it's clear.
plain obvious. Did you have any doubts on that even before watching like the 2003 one? Did you ever think that there was a chance that you would prefer the remake over the original?
I had no, I don't go into films with expectations. I think that fucks you up
Mm,
from the get-go. I'm very staunch advocate of don't watch a film. That's why I don't watch trailers. That's why if there's a director or an actor involved in these films that I know I'm going to watch because I love those people or am interested in the work they do, I don't watch trailers because I'm going to watch the film anyway. So I have no expectations. Is the short answer is just I just refuse to because they only let you down. Like if you go, I've gone to the films with high expectations because everyone's buzzed about them and raved about them,
mm,
and I was like, oh, this is disappointing. But then I've gone in with low expectations and I've enjoyed a film way more than others because I have those low expectations. Sinners is a great example from earlier in the year. The buzz was
yeah.
all over and weapons. But I still went watching them without expectations, and I ended up loving them both. Because if I'd have gone in thinking I'm going to love this film, I probably wouldn't
Mm.
have.
I wanted to point out on two things. There's two reviews on Letterboxd for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake that are pure masterpieces. I think that both these reviews, I snort laughed while watching, like
Okay.
reading both of these. They were hilarious. One is a paragraph and one is one line. So the one line is, "I'm so glad Texas isn't real." Like I was like, that is so good. And then the other one is the story of a young woman's repeated attempts to dry her tank top. At every turn, a chainsaw wielding maniac is there, and try as she might, she just can't get to a stopping point to in order to dry said garment. Sometimes you have to kill someone to be comfortable. Like, how
That's
good is
that's the
that?
that is
That is so
amazing.
good.
That is legitimately the one of the best reviews I've ever heard. That's
It
so
was
good.
so good. Like, and because if you think about it, it's
Mm.
so true, isn't it? Like, it's
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's
uh,
and you have to be in a certain type of mood to pull that out
yeah.
when after watching that film. Anyway, we're actually too far over time, so we should close down. Is that okay with you? Did you want to add anything on
No,
last
no,
second?
we
Okay.
we did technically stop talking about the movie. We've sort of
Yeah,
talked about other stuff,
yeah,
so
we
we,
did. Yeah, and
um,
that's fair. We
yeah. No, let's wrap it up. You know the drill.
yeah.
You know the plugs.
Yeah, well, speaking of plugs, let's plug ourselves. That doesn't sound real good.
Okay, you first. You're so good at these.
Oh no, right. I am Curb Rider on Letterboxd, Curbside_collections on Instagram, and also host another podcast about physical media called Curbside Collections as well, where I interview people about their collections, and then also have a monthly show where I go through the hot new releases coming our way in the physical media world. Mr. Mike, tell us yours.
Yeah, I'm ready to plug myself. Yeah, look, same sort of thing. So Beyond Horror on Instagram and everything like that. Letterbox
Everything like that.
is
You'll
Letterbox.
find him. Just fucking
Yeah, just
search.
look at if you look up Beyond Horror, it'll come up. Do some
If you're
work,
not following him
people.
already anyway, what are you even here for?
Yeah, that's it. If you're not following me already, you're not listening to this
Yeah,
podcast, so it
yeah.
doesn't matter.
You're not living
Um,
it.
you're not living. Yeah, that's it. You're not drying your tank top any quicker. Yeah, Beyond Horror 666 on Letterboxd and
YouTube?
TikTok. No, that's Beyond Horror AU,
Hey,
which
you.
I am. This is maybe an exclusive. I'm actually thinking, all except for Instagram, I'm thinking about making the change to just AU
Oh,
across
yeah.
it. Get rid of the 666,
It's a good idea.
go to AU, and then I can't get picked on by the Herb Rider. and it will just be one. It won't be three different things. So you've heard it here first. It may be. I reckon I'll do it. I'm probably going to do it as soon as we stop recording.
It's a good idea.
It's a good idea.
Well, yeah, it is a good idea. All right, plugs out of the way. We're well and truly plugged. The super fun Happy Horror Hour is a part of the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network, which you can find anywhere you listen to your podcast. Lots of good stuff for you out there. It doesn't matter. I won't do that. Love you all. Thank you very much for listening. And we do appreciate you being here. There is a super fun Happy Horror Hour Instagram page too, which we should plug first and foremost. So go give that a follow for show updates and other little dribs and drabs and treats and tricks, whatever we want to say. I'm just vamping so hard here at the moment.
No, that's 100% right. You're telling it as it is. There is a super fun Happy Horror Hour podcast Instagram, which is SFHHH podcast. Let me.